Hey guys, welcome to a Screenshots Casual Talks. Today I'm going to talk about the How I Met Your Mother ending. Now, if you haven't seen How I Met Your Mother or the ending or don't want to know anything about it, do not watch this Casual Talks review because it contains spoilers. With that being said, I used to be a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother, in the beginning. I thought the premise was really interesting, and then as time went by, I started to notice that the quality of How I Met Your Mother was going down. It was deteriorating in a way, and I basically just watched it so I could see what the writers did with the ending and see how Ted meets the mother and all those things, and I basically hated the ending. And when I mean hate the ending, I mean like those last 3 minutes and some pieces of the last episode, because overall it's not a bad episode. I mean, it's well thought out and stuff, but it's just those last 3 minutes for me totally ruined it. And the reason why it ruined it for me is because when you start watching a show that the premise of the show is How I Met Your Mother, and the first episode you meet a girl, Ted falls in love with her, and then at the end of that episode he says, and that's how I met your Aunt Robin, then you're doing something that normally shows don't do, which is the girl that you meet is not the girl of the story, is not the girl that the main character is going to end up with. And that's what I thought was really interesting about the show. That's why I convinced so many people to watch the show, because the girl that he meets is not the girl that he ends up with. Because in the majority of the shows and films that are made in America, the girl that the guy meets in the beginning of the film or show is normally the girl that he ends up with. And the fact that How I Met Your Mother was doing something different there, trying something new, and then totally ruins it by the ending that apparently was thought out from the beginning, it's natural that it's going to create this huge rage between the fans or people who have watched the show and just want to see how it ended, There is no logical reason for Ted to end up with Robin, okay? And I'm not saying that the concept is not interesting. It is interesting. The fact that the mother of his kids is not the girl that he ends up with at the end. That's been done before in Definitely Maybe, and it's a really good film. It's a really good rom-com film, It's a kind of a different way of watching rom-coms, because you have this main character, Ryan Reynolds, talking to Abigail Breslin, and telling her the story of how he met her mother. And he tells 3 different stories, basically 3 women that he dated or liked or had a connection with. And his daughter has to figure out which one is the mother. But then you realize that because things didn't work out between him and the mother, Elizabeth Banks' character, they end up divorcing. And he then is able to go after the girl that he really wants to be with, which is Isla Fisher's character. Okay? So that film, it works. But here in How I Met Your Mother, when you start with the show with a girl like Robin that doesn't want anything that Ted wants, that Ted has to force her to be with him, to date for a year, and then suddenly realize, yeah, we're dating, but it's not, we don't want the same thing, so we're gonna separate from each other, we're gonna break up. Then that's when Ted moves on from this girl that he liked, kind of like a teenage love, to be honest. Okay, now Ted then has to meet a girl that fits him, that makes sense for him. Not fate, I don't care about the fate, destiny part of the show. Just a girl that fits him, you know what I mean? That makes sense for him, that thinks the same way that he does, And you meet that girl. It's the mother. It's Tracy's character. When you introduce a character like the mother and she's this awesome, amazing person, to be honest, like my favorite episode is How Your Mother Met Me, because I love the way that they did that episode, to see all of those 9 years fly by really quickly, but also feel really natural. I think they did a great job with that episode. When you see her play La Vie en Rose with Ted listening, that is such a beautiful scene. I love that. And then instead, in the ending, they just completely... Many people say that it's a realistic ending, the way that the writers did. It's not a realistic ending. Realistic ending would have been the mother dying, which I'm fine with, dealing with it properly, seeing Ted mourn for her loss, and the reason why he told the kids this story is because he wanted to honor her memory, you know? And the kids feel his loss. You can see Ted crying in that scene, you know, make him cry, and the kids feel that and try to support him so that he can finally move on from the mother. That makes sense. I'm down with that. I'm fine with that. But the story has to be about the mother, not about Robin. That's stupid. If he does meet a girl at the end of the show, it shouldn't be Robin, it should be a new girl. You know? And instead of making that last episode in 40 minutes, make it in a whole season. Instead of having like Barney and Robin, this huge build-up of their wedding, and then they made this huge season span in 3 days, which is Barney and Robin's wedding, and then have it mean nothing. To be honest, I actually like them, you know, divorcing each other, because I never felt that Barney and Robin made sense at all, so I don't even think that plot line should have ever existed. But if it did, you know, then make it something less important. Why have so many things go on in the last episode? They could have done it throughout a season. The way that it should have been done, in my opinion, is it starts off with the first episode being How Your Mother Met Me. The second episode is Barney and Robin's wedding. You can have that. Barney and Robin's wedding. Fine. And the end of that episode, he's at the train station with the mother in the yellow umbrella. And then he goes up and talks to her, but you don't listen. You have like kind of music going on, and you see them talking, but you don't hear what they're saying. And then it goes the first date, them being together, wedding proposal, kids, not being able to marry, Barney and Robin getting divorced at the midway, make it believable, make it understanding. That's fine. Robin then starts becoming this independent woman because of her career. Makes sense. Marshall and Lily have a third baby. Makes sense. Marshall becomes a judge. Makes sense. Barney can even have a baby and become a better person because of that, and develop actually. That's fine. I'm down with that. And then you see Ted and Tracy actually getting married and having the kids, and then Tracy getting sick, and Ted having to be with her and making her feel better. And then you have the episode where she dies, which is going to be like a really moment where you see Ted crying, and he just stays there. And then you see the scene where Ted meets the mother at the train station, and you hear what they have to say to each other. And when that scene ends, it cuts to Ted telling the kids a story and saying that, and that's how I met your mother. And he like kind of cries in that scene, but not that much, because it's been 6 years, and the kids feel him and try to support him and saying that was such a beautiful story, you know. I like the fact that he told the whole story of your life and not just you meeting the mother, because it made me get to know you a lot better. You can even end the show if you want of Ted meeting a new girl. I'm fine with that, but a new girl, not Robin, because Robin and Ted don't make sense, you know. And and that would be a much more realistic ending than the one that it was, because believe me, Ted ending up with Robin is not a realistic ending. It's a fairy tale ending trying to be realistic because the mother dies in like a second. And those are my opinions of the show. Those are my opinions, you know. And it was never a great sitcom. It was a good sitcom. It was trying to be creative in the beginning. It was cool. It worked. But then it started getting worse throughout the years. And then it could have actually redeemed itself with the ending, and it didn't. I think they completely ruined it. But this is my opinion. This is my opinion. I cannot speak for them. If that's the ending that they wanted, then I have to respect them for it. But it just really infuriates me that the first girl that the guy meets is the girl that he ends up with. It's a formula that many American films and many American shows do, and I do not approve of, you know. That's why I liked films kind of like 500 Days of Summer, and even The Spectacular Now, as I said in my review, you know, it made sense, you know. And if you're trying to be creative, then do something that is absolutely different, and not different but kind of the same. And that's what I felt with How I Met Your Mother. But still, it's a good sitcom, you know. It had some cool moments. It's not as good as Friends, in my opinion, because Friends is predictable and simple, but it works a lot better, in my opinion. Like Ross and Rachel do make sense to for them to be together, and you feel that they are on pause throughout the whole show. And then when Rachel's about to leave, Ross goes after her, and it's very cheesy, it's very lame, I know, but it works, you know, at least it works. And the best sitcom, I think, is Boy Meets World, because those are the most realistic characters, you know, Corey, Sean, and Topanga, all of the characters that you see them develop from the end of primary school to the second year of college. That was amazing. And if you want realistic, watch that. It's cheesy, yes, it's cheesy as hell, but watch it. It is such a good sitcom. Whereas How I Met Your Mother is good, but ultimately fails, in my opinion. So yeah, these are my opinions of How I Met Your Mother and the ending. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to know your opinions below. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, these are my personal opinions.